I'm very happy to be here today
Hello. How are you?
Alex. Hi, Alex. You know, I'm kind of in
Hello,
awe.
Patrick. How are you? Good to be here.
Good. I'm good. Thank
In
you.
awe.
I'm kind of in awe of
Yeah.
teachers like you who are so experienced. It's funny because I met you in 2011. We were colleagues in Machala, Ecuador. And then when I returned to
That's
2000,
correct. Yes.
then when I returned to 2000 in 2017 to Machala, Ecuador, there you were teaching at the same place. I casually remarked,
But
you're still here?
yeah, and so much had happened in between to me. Actually, that's the funny story. Yes, that is the strange part. But
What
yes.
happened in between? You'd been to China?
Well, first of all, yeah. Let's see. First, I got a job in Saudi Arabia, which I thought was really great because Saudi Arabia, the Middle East, is where EFL teachers make a lot of money. It is the Arabs have lots of money to spend on English lessons. Unfortunately, things did not work out in Saudi Arabia, so I went back and I got a job.
Was that, sorry, was that your first time in Saudi Arabia?
China,
Had you worked in Saudi Arabia
in
before? Had you worked in Saudi Arabia before?
No, I hadn't. No,
okay. Okay. So
no,
was it, was it kind of
the first and last time I was in Saudi Arabia.
Okay. Was it kind of a culture shock? Culture shock at all?
Yeah, it was, I would say, culture shock. Certainly, it was different. It's definitely something you had to get used to. Just I mean, as you know, in Saudi Arabia, just every little thing is regulated by the Muslim religion, and if everything from they close things down a few times a day for prayers. Women are not permitted, usually not permitted to go in public, and you really should avoid speaking to a woman you're not related to. So it's a very, very difficult thing.
Were you working at like a language academy? What were the classes like? Group classes?
Yeah, no. In Saudi Arabia, I worked at a school. It was actually called King Saud University, but yeah, the classes were English lessons, mainly with young, obviously young male college students. Yeah. So
okay,
yes.
And then moving on to China,
And
what you said, then you went to China. Was that the first time you'd been in China too?
No, that was the second time I've been in China. Yeah, my very first job. I had been to China once before I met you. So yeah, that was my second time in China.
And how did that work out for you?
Let's see, my first time in China.
Did anything strange happen to you when you were in China?
Mostly it was pretty good. Strange. Well, I could tell a few stories. Well,
communist propaganda or anything like that?
Yes, as a matter of fact, yes. Okay, if you want something along those lines. I was once I took a taxi back from the school to my apartment, and the taxi driver, he spoke to me. He didn't speak English very well, but he could tell that I was American. He handed me a pamphlet, and I said, I didn't quite know what it was for, but the pamphlet had a web address on it. I just sort of shrugged and took the pamphlet with me. Now I might have gone straight to look up the web address, but I didn't. I think because at the time we didn't have very good internet access in my apartment, so I waited until the next day to go to the school. I showed the pamphlet to some of the Chinese teachers in the school, and they took one look at it and were like, "Uh-oh." They had a very strange reaction. They were like, "You don't need this. This is not important."
Was it in English or in Spanish?
It was in Chinese.
Oh, sorry, it's Chinese.
Chinese.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it was mostly in Chinese, except. Yeah, no, it was mostly in Chinese, except for the web address.
Okay.
So but I just, they were just, the Chinese teachers were very much trying, telling me to forget I had seen that. But I decided to look up the web address anyway. When I did, I got pictures and films of people being attacked and in various ways by the government. So yeah, it was a very, very strange thing. I eventually just sort of put it aside and decided to more or less forget it. But
Did any like Communist Party officials ever come to the school and try to lecture you guys about politics or anything like that?
oh, as a matter of fact, that happened on my last trip to China.
Oh no.
Well, not to lecture us, but on my last trip to China, that's in fact that my very last job in China ended prematurely, kind of because of that.
Really?
What happened was a group of policemen raided the school. They literally, they came into the school and they started looking at each, and they actually started speaking with each of us and they took us one by one into a room to question us about various things, like how we got there, how we came to be teaching there, and various other things. Then they actually asked to see my passport, and they ended up keeping it for a while. I had to wait for while they had my passport. Then I had to go back and take a trip. I had to go and do the same thing at what was it? At the police station, and they filed a report. And after a great deal of conversations and whatnot, I went back. And at that point, the teacher, the head of the school, told us that we would probably have to go home, leave the country now, because
You and the other
things
teachers
were yes,
heating up.
they actually paid for my ticket back, my plane ticket back that time, which was good, and plus
Things were
a nice little bonus.
things were heating up. Wow. So you've been to
Apparently, yes.
Saudi Arabia and China. I think you mentioned Taiwan and Vietnam, but also, of course,
Right,
Ecuador, Mexico, Central America. Where's your favorite?
right.
Where's your favorite place? If you could have a dream job.
Oh boy, that's a hard one. There are different reasons, different places for different reasons. Let's see. I mean, Mexico is just nice. Is a nice place, just a good place to be. It's for no other reason than because it's not too big of a departure from the United States. I would say then, of course, I liked living in Ecuador. You probably know this, but in Ecuador, I met a woman that I'm still in contact with. That was good. But let's see.
Yeah, I gotta
Yeah.
ask you, have you ever been robbed?
And China,
Have you ever been robbed or any attempted robberies?
yes, a few times.
Yeah. Can you tell us about those situations?
A few times. Let's see. Okay, well, well, the most recent time was in Honduras. Unfortunately, in the capital of Honduras, which is Tegucigalpa. It was actually during the pandemic, when the pandemic was really getting bad. And the problem, of course, was that at that point, with the pandemic being what it was, very few people walked the streets at all. But I was walking the street. I actually made the mistake of using my, I wanted to use the GPS on my phone to try to find my way to a more a store, a different store that I had never been to before. Anyway, there was this young person who looked like a beggar, was standing by the outside one of the stores. So I walked up to the place. Then I did my business. Then that same guy comes up to me, and he at first he walked right up to me. I just didn't know what to think, but he grabbed he grabbed into my pocket and grabbed my phone and my wallet, and it was,
Wow.
and I actually went. I thought there was a policeman nearby, and I told the policeman. The policemen were actually very friendly, even though they didn't speak English very well. And so I got into the. They actually gave me a ride in the back of their car. Then they actually found a guy who that they thought might be the suspect. I took one look and saw that it wasn't, but it was. But that was a very, unfortunately, the person was never caught. I did have an incident though, sometime later. Somebody on the street showed me an ID card, an old ID card, which had come out of my wallet. And unfortunately, it was not something I needed anymore. It was an expired thing that I was just carrying around. But that was my experience there. Yeah.
What are your plans for the future? Where do you plan to go? You're in Honduras right now. You're in Central America right now,
Yeah.
correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
Plans to stay there?
Well, I'm hoping no. Well, unfortunately, Honduras is not in such a great place right now. But I would like to go. Well, I said right now I've got a few applications going. I would like to go back to Ecuador sometime soon, and I would also like, if not, so yeah, I do want to travel to other parts of Latin.
How did you get into teaching
I'm
in the
hoping
first
very
place?
much to go back.
How did you get into
What?
teaching?
Oh, how did I get into teaching in the first place? Yeah, that's that happened when I was working in many different jobs in Massachusetts. In fact, I had been working for over 5 years as a Verizon phone operator, and that was, it's a good union job. Unfortunately, the place was closing down, and they offered everyone a benefits package, which a severance package, I should say, with lots and lots of money. And I was at that point, I wasn't sure. I had heard about teaching in teaching English in other countries. So I went online and I found out that there are schools which will give you your TEFL certificate, but we'll also tell you if you don't get a job, we guarantee you'll get a job. And I said, well, can't go wrong with that. So I went to after I got laid off, I went to Mexico for the first time in my life, where I got my TEFL certificate after 4 weeks. And from there, I had, it was not that hard. It's never been that hard to find a job anywhere in the world. So, or well, I shouldn't say anywhere in the world, but anywhere where they need TEFL.
So were you happy with that course that you did? What was that course called?
It was the TEFL certificate. The name of the school was a school called International Teacher Training Organization, or ITO.
Okay.
And yeah, it's based in Guadalajara, Mexico. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what kind of methodology do you use when you teach? How do you get the students speaking in English?
Oh boy. Well, I've looked at a few things with that. I try to look at what we have here. The methodology, obviously you want,
like, do you teach grammar or do
yes,
you?
both?
Okay.
Well, everything really, but yeah, to teach, usually there's a sort of a formula for teaching, which I've heard, which sometimes I use. It's called the 3 Ps, right? Presentation, practice, and production. Usually I start with something that introduces the topic. And you mentioned grammar, then show the grammar point. And then of course you want to practice as much as you can, the words and everything like that. And production is when the students actually try to use it to write something or do a step of some kind. But you really have to consider everything, the school, the different things that they have.
Yeah,
it's very
So I gotta ask
Very
you, I, I, I gotta
great
ask you
deal I
this.
found from, yeah. And of course, yeah,
I gotta ask you the $64,000
go ahead.
question, because I know you're not in it for the money, but if you had to do
Go
it
ahead.
over, if you had to do it over again, would you still be a teacher?
Yeah, I think I would. Absolutely. Yes, yes.
And
Yeah, I look back on it.
what interests do you
Yeah.
have besides teaching? Do you have any hobbies or interests?
Yeah, well, I'm a big fan of things like comics, movies, and that kind of and that sort of thing. So yeah, and in fact, as of course I also I got my college degree in literature, so I'm very much interested in English literature, and also how those things work with in storytelling. So yeah, I've studied theater, and also how, and also to a certain extent screenwriting. So I'm very much interested in all of that.
Do you get to incorporate that into your classes at all?
I have tried to. I have tried to. In the case, well, obviously the big thing you can do
With storytelling? You're kind of breaking up a little.
um,
You're starting to break up a
is
little.
try to study. Obviously, those things are all
Yeah.
are, since
Yeah.
English is the language of all of those things. So yeah,
Yeah.
I do try to show movies too. So yeah, I am big on that.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah. You were starting to break up a little, but I've gone into the other room now, and I think the connection's a little better. So
Okay.
I just want to ask you again, like teaching with movies, like how would you do that? Have you done that?
Okay, I'm gonna let you in on a secret. Believe it or not, there's a great blog by I believe a Brazilian person called Movie Segments to Assess Grammar Goals. And if you go to his blog, he's got literally every EFL grammar point you could imagine. And and for that, and there's literally a movie, or at least one or two movie lessons based on each one. So that's good. And the idea is, of course, use the different, well, either one of two things. If it's a movie the segment that features characters using the grammar point.
Yeah. Grammar points.
Or that tense, that's good. Or if it's in some way, you can use some, right. But there's different ways. Yeah.
Hey, Alex, look at,
You take, yeah,
look
it
at,
takes a
look
little
at
bit
that.
of, yeah, thoughts.
That's me teaching.
I don't see it.
I'm on the gate.
Oh, that's you. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I see that.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
I'm on the gate.
Oh, that's you on the gate. Oh.
Yeah,
Wow.
we're painted onto the gate.
Oh, how nice. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, and do you know who that guy is standing next to me?
Oh, wow. Impressive.
Do you know who that guy standing next to me is?
What, in the which one? The
tall guy in the picture next to it?
what? No.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ahmed?
yeah, the guy I used to work for.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's funny that over the years, we've worked at some of the same places. In fact, you even gave me ideas about where to go to apply. Like you told me about Master
Yes,
Key,
right.
and then you told me about Geneva
Oh,
Academy. So we know a lot of the same people. Well,
obviously, yes.
yeah. Well, thanks for doing this interview today.
Okay, great.
If you ever come back to Ecuador, which I hope you will, be sure to
Yeah.
look me up.
I definitely will. Absolutely. Okay.
Okay, bro.
Right. Bye.
Bye.